Hello everybody, so welcome back to my channel. This is going to be kind of a different kind of video, an interesting one, because I've never really done anything like this before in my channel. Now, Call of Duty is probably my favorite game franchise of all time. I mean, I started gaming with Call of Duty, and I'm probably going to end gaming with Call of Duty as well. So I just decided, how about I pay homage to all the Call of Duties that I've played and do a tier list. First of all, I'm gonna let's create the tiers. So I don't really like rating them with grades because I feel like that's just a pain to do. So I'll just do disappointing, or there we go, that's better. I'll call this decent, enjoyable, fantastic, perfect. So basically we got the tiers. This should be a lot more easier to understand now. In my opinion, this is way better than you know, doing it with tiers. I feel like with tiers it's just stupid, but by tiers I mean like grades. So let's start. So first up on the list, an interesting one. We're gonna ignore these ones just because I'm gonna include these on the actual games as well. But let's start off with Advanced Warfare. So Advanced Warfare is a really interesting case for me because back when I played Advanced Warfare, that was the first futuristic game we've ever had for COD. And to be honest with, I mean, I thought it would be interesting just because it was new to Call of Duty, so I wanted to see how it would change COD, right? Although I was disappointed because I feel like it wasn't a good change. I feel like they fucked it up. In terms of campaign, first of all, I've really loved the campaign, right? The campaign was very enjoyable, despite what a lot of people say. I've heard some people who's disliked it, and that's disappointing because I've really enjoyed it personally myself. I think it was a really good COD campaign, very good quality. And in terms of multiplayer, now the multiplayer was just horrible for me. I didn't enjoy it. It was full of sweats. It was full of the skill-based matchmaking was horrible. It's just the fact that the jetpacks, it's just it ruined the flow for me. I did not like the multiplayer, but the campaign was really enjoyable. Now zombies is one thing I was excited for. This was the first time we've ever had a non-Treyarch zombies in Call of Duty, so I was excited to see this. I even was starting to think maybe this is gonna be the first game that proves us that Treyarch maybe aren't the best zombie game makers, but I don't think that's ever gonna be the case. I don't think no one's gonna beat Treyarch in zombies. So my final rating on Advanced Warfare is disappointed me, unfortunately, because I liked the campaign and that gave me a good taste in my mouth, which I lost after playing the multiplayer and the zombies. Well, there's survival too, but nobody played Advanced Warfare survival. So Infinite Warfare. Now, Infinite Warfare, I to be honest with you, I've actually really enjoyed Infinite Warfare. I think I have about 200 hours on it. I know that isn't a lot, but I feel like that's a lot for a COD game that I didn't really care about, especially since back then, I didn't really care about COD itself. I was interested in many other things. I think Overwatch was the main game that everyone was interested in, but I left Overwatch, ditched Overwatch, and switched to Payday 2. But Infinite Warfare, I still got the game, still have around 250 hours on it. But basically, I've played the campaign. I've really enjoyed the campaign, probably one of the best campaigns ever made. It kind of reminds me of the Cold War campaign. I don't specifically remember, but I think you had like specialist abilities, and I think there were really cool features. For example, there was like a grenade where you threw, and yeah, motherfuckers just floating in the air. It's gameplay wise, it was phenomenal. Story wise, I loved it. The whole spaceship flying, it just wasn't Call of Duty. That was my only complaint about the campaign. It didn't feel Call of Duty, but sometimes that's what you need. Sometimes you need something that's different, and that's what I wanted, and they pulled that off perfectly. In terms of multiplayer, it was decent. What didn't really go crazy about it. Didn't really get bored about it. But the main reason why I still got back on to Infinite Warfare was because of the zombies mode. Um, the the first map, which was Zombies in Spaceland, was really good. I had a full crew back then. We all we're not together anymore, but I had a full crew back then, and we just loved doing Easter eggs. So we just keep on. We did all the we've done all the Easter eggs for the game, but we first tried the Zombies in Spaceland Easter egg. We loved it, with the alien boss fight in the end and so on. And I think the second map was Rave in the Redwoods. I've tried the Easter egg on that too, and we enjoyed Rave as well. But ever since the third map, I don't remember. I think it was either Beast from the Beyond or Shaolin Shuffle, or basically any map that's come out after what's that game? Like any game after Rave, we just got bored, but we really enjoyed Rave and also Spaceland so much that we expected that the other maps to be good as well. So for example, when the third map was honestly, in my opinion, pretty shit, we decided to still get the next maps, see how that would perform. And I honestly, I think one of the main reasons that where I felt really disappointed with the future zombie maps with Infinite Warfare is because just before Infinite Warfare we had Black Ops 3, and that still to this day, in my opinion, is the best zombies experience we've had so far. So I'm gonna put Infinite Warfare in decent. Love the campaign, decent multiplayer, decent zombies. As an average, that makes decent. Black Ops 4. Now, this is gonna be a very unpopular opinion, okay? Because first of all, Blackout, I really loved Blackout, right? And you guys are gonna go crazy when I hear it, but in my opinion, Blackout solos, at least solos, alright? Solos. Blackout solos is better than Warzone. And mainly because of the reason of the movement. Not to mention the game is more of a battle royale, because with like Warzone, you get your loadout and then it doesn't even become a battle royale after that. Basically becomes multiplayer. But with BO4, it felt like a battle royale. It even got the movement, the fucking grappling hook. That's all you needed, baby. And solos was just so fun in that game. I had around 300 hours on just pure Blackout on the PlayStation. I think BO4 was the first COD game where I stopped getting the games on my computer. But yeah, just shit ton of gaming on BO4, on Blackout. Really enjoyed it. To duos, trios, quads, didn't really enjoy it that much. I was just in for the solos. In terms of multiplayer, I think it was decent. I mean, it wasn't bad, wasn't good. A lot of people complained about the specialists being too overpowered. I did like it though, because the specialists were so fun. I loved using Spectre, Ice Picks, hacking computer, all of that. And finally, zombies. I don't know really what to say. I have a love-hate relationship with Black Ops 4 zombies. I feel like some maps are so shit, but I really love the other maps. I actually like the mechanics of BO4 zombies. I like the perk system. If only they could bring back a few old perks, that'd be nice. But I do see why they didn't. I do see there's a point. It's not like Treyarch's evil, removing the old perks just for no fucking reason. There is good reason behind it. So that I really enjoyed. I like the elixir system. I found that the elixirs were cool. But mainly, I just love the maps. I had a problem with the Easter eggs. I didn't really like the Easter eggs. They were way too complicated. I had to if I really wanted to do an Easter egg solo in BO4, I had to force myself. I wouldn't do an Easter egg on BO4 unless I had at least 3 people on my team. So BO4 was probably a special place in my heart. This is probably the game that also got me back into Call of Duty, because before this we had World War II. That kind of almost made me give up on the franchise, but BO4 put me right back on COD. So I'm putting this on enjoyable. BO2, I don't know what to say. In terms of gameplay, first of all, probably the best campaign we've ever had. the replayability value, all the secret like access things that you had in the game where you can to make your mission more fun, playable. You know, the different endings. There was a lot more endings, a lot more branched out than Cold War, and it's just perfect. I really enjoyed the campaign on Black Ops 2. The multiplayer was, I love the multiplayer, you know, probably the best Call of Duty multiplayer we've had to date. I don't think any COD multiplayer can top BO2 off. And also with BO2, it was like my only complaint with the multiplayer, other than the bad connection, right? Because that's a thing, that's always the problem with Treyarch, the shitty servers. But that's not just a Treyarch thing. It's a you know, Call of Duty thing, but it's mostly in the like it's the worst in the Treyarch games. But you know, excluding the connection, my only issue was that, you know, flinch was the thing. Like the flinch in BO2 was horrible. Everyone had to use the I think it was called toughness. That was the perk, I think, the toughness perk to reduce flinch. That was my only complaint. But other than that, I loved everything. The time to kill was really good. I love the time to kill. Probably the best time to kill we've ever had. Every single weapon were useful. You know, was useful. You could use any weapon you wanted. Of course, it'd be like this one or two weapon that everyone, like there'd be one or two weapons that everyone would use just because, you know, it's better than the others. But the others are still an option. You know, they aren't jack shit. You know, and the streaks, the score streaks, they were so rewarding. I just kind of small annoyance that it was score streaks, just because I felt like it was a lot more work to get them. A lot of people says otherwise, but I don't know. Maybe it's just I found it more satisfying getting kill streaks instead. And zombies is an interesting one, because with BO2, I feel like I don't know if I should say this, but BO2 is probably the weirdest zombies experience you can get, mainly because it's got the worst maps in this series and the best maps in this series too. I mean, it's got Transit and Die Rise, which is pretty shit. Then it's got Buried, Mob, and Origins. Technically, I think Transit's okay. I feel like people shit on it way too hard. I don't think it should be shit on that much. It's not that bad. If you're, you know, if you think that some things are horrendous on Transit, just fucking get better, man. You know, same opinion with Zetsubo no Shima from BO3. Die Rise, that's the only map I actually properly disliked in the game. You know, I dislike Transit too, just because I found it a bit boring, but like I said, I don't think it deserves all the shit it's getting you know, shit on. But I still think it's a pretty shit map. Die Rise I despised. And then Buried, Mob, and Origins, probably my favorite maps in the game. I do feel like Origins is overrated though. I'm not saying it's bad, right? But it's just overrated. I feel like it's more overrated than Mob, in my opinion. I feel like Mob is underrated, at least compared to Origins. It's still overrated as well. I feel like Mob and Origins are very overrated, but that doesn't mean they're bad. Mob, my only complaint with Mob is that it's way too simple, and Origins is way too complex. Actually, Origins isn't complex. There's just so much you need to know, and I kind of dislike that. But other than that, you know, BO2, very weird experience, but it's got the best maps, zombie maps in the game. It's got the best multiplayer we've ever had, and the most enjoyable campaign we've ever had. So BO2 obviously hops over to perfect. COD Ghosts. I don't know what to say. You see, the campaign was pretty disappointing. I mean, it had a cool idea, especially the fact that it was set in the apocalypse. I found that cool, but that's pretty much it. The multiplayer, no, actually, let's skip the multiplayer. Extinction, the Extinction was pretty disappointing too, you know. I was expecting more. There was also co-op. I don't remember if that it was called Spec Ops or co-op, but there was something else, and basically it was just like go from point A to point B while shooting enemy simulator. So I fucking dislike that. And the multiplayer, you know, when I heard the whole new systems, that was cool. Like the whole dynamic map thing, where depending on how you played, the map would change. Not to mention you had skill trees instead of perks. That was very new, you know, added a different kind of factor to it. Kind of like Payday 2, you know, you get skill points and then you get skills to improve your character. That was a thing we've never had in COD, and I don't think we ever will have it in COD. Perks are the king of COD. And I was disappointed because I felt like those skills would change COD forever for in a good way, but just like Advanced Warfare, it fucked up the game even more. So at Ghost, I was really excited for this game, really depressed about it, disappointed. Roads to Victory, I haven't played. World War Two. Now this is interesting. Oh shit. All right, that was a mistake there. Now the campaign was decent. Alright, no complaint. I just like the setting and the fact that it had characters that I cared about. Um, Zombies was disappointing because I played the Final Reich and I really loved it. One of my favorite things about Zombies, I guess you can say I'm a bit biased for Zombies, but I really loved World War Two Zombies mainly because you could choose your character, and that one of the characters was played by David Tennant, which I have a bias for because I'm a Doctor Who fan. I love the show Doctor Who, and one of the actors is acted by David Tennant, so I always just love playing as him. But that's like my only thing about Zombies. I loved the Final Reich. It was pretty good. The Easter egg was really fun. It was an interesting thing for the game to tell you how to do the Easter egg, which is funny because that's how the Easter egg for the map got solved before the game even came out. But other than that, basically Zombies was disappointing because all the maps after that got pretty shit. World War Two multiplayer is interesting as well because World War Two multiplayer started off really shit and it did improve, but I feel like the game was built more for esports. I mean, after all, Sledgehammer was communicating with the community, but like the pro community and no one else. And like, what's the point of communicating with the pro community when half of the fucking things in the pro community is banned? So World War Two is definitely disappointing. I expected a lot more. World War. Right before this we had Infinite Warfare. I thought it was decent. I thought World War Two was gonna save COD to be a lot better, but it got even worse than Infinite. I'd actually still rather play Infinite Warfare over World War Two. The original Black Ops. This game has a special place in my heart. Black Ops is the game that probably changed not just my life, but the way I perceive gaming. The campaign is my favorite campaign of all time. From the incredible missions to the memorable characters to the incredible story. Now, you Modern Warfare 2 fanboys, don't come and get me with your MW2's got the best campaign because it's got a plot twist. No, Modern Warfare 2 is the most basic campaign. Actually, just don't dislike the video yet. I'll talk more about MW2. I still have a lot of praise for that game, so don't dislike me yet. But Black Ops, best campaign. I love the multiplayer, probably like next to Black Ops 2 kind of level. It was just so simple and so fun, and I just loved it, man. I do feel like I just really enjoyed the fact that there's COD points, which, by the way, fun fact, back then COD points weren't a thing you purchased with real money. You'd get COD points by winning matches or by gambling your COD points in things like Gun Game. You'd get your COD points, then gamble it against your friends in Gun Game to get even more COD points, and so on. Next thing, I love the time to kill. Just everything was perfect. I absolutely loved it. Probably to this day, one of my favorite campaigns. Not campaigns. One of my favorite multiplayers I've ever played. Like, by multiplayer I mean PvP. One of the best PvP experiences I've ever had. Zombies, honestly, I don't wanna sound like a dick, but I really didn't enjoy BO1 Zombies. There weren't so many maps I was fond of. I loved Kino. I loved 5. I loved Cock of the Dead, and I also loved Moon. Actually, no, Moon is decent for me. I think Moon's decent because the Easter egg is horrendous on that map, And finally, Shangri-La was pretty decent in my opinion as well. I thought the Easter egg was pretty horrendous on that too, but oh yeah, I forgot to mention Ascension. I really loved Ascension. I just kind of dislike the monkey rounds, but you know, BO1 zombies kind of have a love-hate relationship. So I'm placing this at perfect. Finest Hour, I did not play. United Offensive, I did not play. The PS2 World at War, I have not played. Big Red One, I haven't played. Classic, I have not played. Alright, Black Ops 3 is probably the hardest choice because the campaign was so fucking bad in this game. So, first of all, campaign. If I was just rating this, in terms of campaign, I wouldn't even put this in disappointed me. I'd put this in like never play. Not never played, never play. You know, like a warning. But the campaign was horrendous. The multiplayer, I enjoyed the multiplayer, to be honest with. I just wish it was more boots on the ground than anything, but other than the fact that, you know, it actually had jetpacks, I really enjoyed the game. The time to kill was good. I love the weapons. Every single weapon there was unique before supply drops ruined the game, which leads me to my second point. I think one of the things that really ruined this game were the supply drops. But the thing that really made me love this game is zombies. Probably my favorite zombies experience to date. It's got all my favorite maps. You know, Gord Corey, my favorite map of the entire zombies, you know, like history. It's in this game. It's got their Eisendrach, Zetzbo, which don't even fucking get me there. You know, don't even make me start to rant. I love that map. Revelations, kinda hate that map. Horrendous Easter egg. Shadows, I think it's like an average map. The Giant, found it pretty boring, but other than that, I just loved their Eisendrach, Grodkrovi, Zetzbo. Those three maps were the things that carried BO3 for me. So I'm placing the game at fantastic. I would place it perfect if it had an actual good campaign, but unfortunately the campaign lowers the quality of the game for me. If I were to choose one COD game to play for the rest of my life, and if they told me I had to play all three modes as well, I'd still rather choose one of these two. Call of Duty 2. I've played this just a little bit, like an hour actually, so I'm not gonna consider it as played. Same with Call of Duty 3. Call of Duty Modern Safe Space 3. Unpopular opinion, probably my favorite modern safe space campaign I've ever had. Like, it's just different, you know. It hit different. You know, it had characters that I actually cared for in it. Sandman Truck, you know, Sandman Truck and the Grinch. Those characters were like my favorite American side characters, because each game had like their own American soldier side characters. They were my favorite. You know, Soap's death, it was emotional. It had a badass ending. The missions just were generally really fun. You know, and yeah, it's just, I love the campaign. Multiplayer was good, right? Okay, don't get me wrong, it was good, but it was just disappointing because it was basically a copy paste of Modern Warfare 2 with the Modern Warfare 3 movement / gunplay. And that was my only complaint. You know, it's the same exact game. There's no different. The only difference is Modern Warfare 2's got the better gunplay / movement, so that's what I'd rather play instead for the multiplayer. So I'm gonna place Modern Warfare 3 at fantastic. And COD Mobile, I've played this. Honestly, I think it's overrated. I've tried the zombies mode. It does feel a bit like what Cold War feels today, you know, like objective based. Except Cold War doesn't tell you everything. They just tell you how to open the pack-a-punch. And you know, like I played the zombies, it was decent. I've played the Battle Royale. It's basically, when it first released, it was a copy of Blackout on a different map. and now it's a whole different thing. You know, it's a lot more. It's a lot more fun, enjoyable. You can consider it its own mini cute little battle royale. And the multiplayer was, to this day, it still feels like Black Ops 4 with more maps and more guns from other COD games. This game did release the same time BO4 did, so technically this is like, you can consider it a mobile port of BO4. I'm gonna put this at decent. You know, I don't you know, like, I won't go craving for the game, but that doesn't mean the game is bad. Original Cock, never played. Call of Duty 4, Modern Safe Space. So the campaign is my second favorite Modern Safe Space campaign of all time. Um, I really enjoyed this. I loved this campaign. You know, it felt more actual military than anything else. You know, felt less like a you know, action movie from Michael Bay. The multiplayer is probably my favorite modern safe space multiplayer we've ever had. I don't know if it's the nostalgia, but it just hit different. I love the score streaks. I love the create a class system. I just loved, you know, everything. It was really fun, very satisfying. You know, I think it was the first game where I got gold camo. And I know technically it is the first game where you could get gold camo, but I'm just saying that because my first ever COD game was Black Ops 2, and after that I tried MW3, and then I tried the original Black Ops, then I tried Modern Warfare, and that's where I got gold. And I started COD when originally the latest COD, no, when I started BO2, and the current COD was Ghost. And I've tried every single other game to catch up, but basically that's all. The multiplayer, I just explained to you, and that's all the game had. It didn't really it didn't have a Spec Ops, did it? I don't think so, but perfect. You know, I'd still play MW1 over 3. World at War. Now, I'm gonna put this at enjoyable. I'm gonna explain to you why very briefly, because I only have like 100 hours on the game, and that's mainly from the multiplayer only, because I didn't really enjoy the campaign. I love the gameplay, but you know, I just couldn't care about it. You know, another World War II game. You know, there's not much you can do in World War II. Zombies, I've played the World at War maps on so many other on so many other Treyarch games that I didn't need to play it on World at War. Not to mention, I know it might sound like a hot take, but other than Darius, I don't enjoy World at War Zombies. I feel like it's the worst experience. Honestly, I can't really blame it though, because it is the first ever experiment with zombies, the first ever experience you can have with zombies. So I'm definitely not gonna say anything there. You know, I don't blame anything, like anyone. But the multiplayer is what got me. You know, the multiplayer was so enjoyable. It had the perfect maps, and it was just so fun. It was immersive. It made sense. Like, you know, it played properly. It got the kill streaks that were really fun to use, and just I loved it. Call of Duty Heroes mobile port, didn't really expect much. So I don't know where to put this. I'll just place it at disappointed me, and I'll put this all the way at the bottom. You know, the lowest of the lowest. COD Strike Team. I really love this. I'm gonna be honest with you. This was another mobile game that a lot of people didn't know about. But if you remember the Strike Team missions from the Black Ops 2 campaign, basically that, but on mobile. And I really enjoyed this. I'm gonna put this on decent. Don't really have much to say because I don't really remember playing it, since you can't actually play the game anymore unless maybe someone has like an APK of it uploaded somewhere. But that's it. So I'm put at bottom of decent because I can't remember too much. So Modern Warfare 2. The campaign is overrated. I think it's like I think that is the second worst campaign we've ever had. You know, I think the best one is MW3, then MW1, then MW2, and final place MW 2019. But I'll talk about that later. But I do feel like it's overrated. The campaign is really short. The story is so so basic. My 8-year-old brother can write it. You know, And sorry to hit you guys in the spot, but like in the sad spot, but when Soap died, not Soap, when Ghost died, I honestly couldn't care because he barely speaks, he's barely in the campaign, and then he dies in like what? How many missions? You know what? Let's check that out. Let's check that out. Let's see. Single player levels. I wish there's like one with images. Alright, here we go. So we check this out. SSDD, you play as the US. Okay, yeah, so the first okay, you don't even play as Ghost in this one. So Ghost is in this one, right? We got Ghost here. Let's just highlight that. Oh, did this have Ghost in it? Nope. This was Burger Town, I think. This one had Ghost in it for like 2 minutes. I can't highlight multiple. So that's 2 missions. 3 was Ghost in this. I remember the mission, but was Ghost? Yeah, he was. That's 4. Five. Six missions. That's 6 missions where you play as where you don't even play as him. That's 6 missions where he exists, where he's just another soldier on the battlefield, just screaming every now and then. And he dies, and people get sad over it. You know, it's like people get sad over Roach as well. I guess I can kind of see why you play as him in all the missions, all the British missions, but then again, he doesn't even speak. You know, like, I can't stay emotionally attached to a guy who doesn't say a single thing. But, okay, I went a little bit off on the tangent there. So, Modern Warfare 2 multiplayer, probably the best modern safe space multiplayer we've ever had. I just feel like, you know, it got a little bit bad when people started abusing the cheese, you know, One Man Army Pro and fucking ACR, heartbeat sensor suppressor. But you know that was all part of the charm. You know, it was so broken, but broken in a good way. Like it was broken, but that's what made the game really fun to be played. You know, it's got the famous arguments. You know, pussy with a riot shield. I'm a pussy with a riot shield. You know what I'm saying? It was something else. Spec Ops. You know, I honestly couldn't really care. So I'm putting this game on perfect. You know, this game had a special place in my heart. Declassified, which is it's basically Cold War, but on the PS Vita. This game is a sequel prequel to well, it's a sequel to BO1 and a prequel to BO2, so it's in between those times. But this is like right after BO1, like a year after, and it talks about like Menendez's childhood, I think, but. Honestly, it wasn't too bad, the campaign. The multiplayer was basically a copy of BO1. I don't even think zombies was in it, but it was just meh, you know. Then again, I wasn't surprised out of a fucking portable PlayStation port. Modern Warfare 2019. Alright. I don't want to get off in a tangent here, because whenever this game is brought up, I can start like 1 hour conversation, not conversation. I can start a whole rant. So I don't want to start off. I just want to say simple points, because trust me, if I say one more word, I'm gonna start explaining that, and that's gonna turn into a Modern Warfare 2019 rant video. Campaign was shit. Alright? Want to get that out of there. Modern Safe Space 2019's campaign was shit. I want to get it out there. Alright? A lot of people praise the game. Clean house, clean house. Okay, fine. I really loved Clean House. Going Dark was really good. You know, in terms of gameplay, I got nothing to say. But the story is just so bland. My 8-year-old brother can write it. I mean, if I told my brother, write a story about war and make the Russians the bad guys, he'll do it. He will do it, and it'll turn exactly like Modern Warfare 2019. I'll tell him. Also include like Arabic nations to make it feel more modern. He'll create the exact same campaign, you know. What else? Multiplayer was fucking bad too. You know, the maps are horrible. I see babies crying about Cold War returning with 3-lane maps. They say how the maps in Modern Warfare are better. The 2-story maps with doors, they say it's better because it's more realistic, more tactical. It truly isn't. I mean, what's so realistic and tactical about the US Army staying in a room with claymores and a fucking Olympia shotgun with stim packs and an infinitely recharging claymore? What? And they just wait for the enemy to attack them. If they don't go attack the enemy, that's not gonna happen. You know, they said it was gonna get realistic. They failed. They said it was gonna get tactical. They failed, because you either see people who's sitting in a room in the corner with a shotgun just killing everyone, or you see some motherfucker jumping and prone shotting everyone. You know, I can't really say anything because that's the type of player I am. But on Modern Warfare 2019, it's an exception. And people say, oh, but that's not the game's fault. It is. And I'll tell you why. It's not just the map design, you know. But look at some of these old games. Look at Black Ops 1. Look at Black Ops 2. Look at World at War. Look at Modern Warfare 1. Tell me, have you seen any game where the entire enemy team is doing nothing but camping? Have you seen that? No. Why? Because the players are bad? No. Because the game isn't encouraging you to camp. The game isn't making it easier for campers. Spec Ops was utter fucking horrible dog shit. I don't see why people actually enjoy the Spec Ops in that game. Survival is PP. You know, fucking enemies who take like 8 sniper shots to die in like round 8. Modern Warfare 2019, you know, it's got the perfect graphics, the perfect gun sounds, the perfect reloads. Even with the perfect graphics, it's still disappointing because it's just, everything's just so black and white. You know, I wish it was colorful, and it isn't. Modern Warfare 2019, you know, fuck the COD community, not the COD community, fuck the modern safe space community who's gonna come whining saying this game is so much better than every single other game I've mentioned. But I just gotta do it. I'd rather play Advanced Warfare over Modern Safe Space. Okay, Booty Oil, Cold Sweat. I love the campaign. I love the zombies, you know. Multiplayer is interesting because the multiplayer, I would like to like the multiplayer, but I can't, because the game just won't let me enjoy the multiplayer because of the sweaty gamers and the hacking and the skill-based matchmaking, and other than that, if you know, we remove all those. Oh shit, cancel. Oh shit, that was close. If you remove all those, I guess it can be like an enjoyable multiplayer. you know, not crazy, just enjoyable, just because you know, just because it's like, how should I say it? It's not like anything crazy, but it's like, it's just because the score streaks are so bad in the game, you know. Score streaks is what make up a COD multiplayer, in my opinion. Without score streaks, you can't have a proper COD multiplayer. So I'm placing Cold War into probably either the first game of Fantastic or the last game of Enjoyable. I'd still rather play BO3 just because the zombies, you know, but actually I'll place it right here in the middle of Fantastic. Alright, I'd rather play Modern Warfare 3 over Cold War, but I'd still play Cold War over BO3. But if it was for zombies, you know, no doubt, definitely playing Black Ops 3. But you know, if I was forced to play every single mode, Cold War is right in the middle, right here. So let's rearrange this now from worst to best. Worst disappointing game. You know, I'm gonna place this into never played because I barely played this. Just had like a few hours on my phone. But first of all, most disappointing game I've ever experienced, Modern Warfare. Second place, Black Ops Declassified. I was really excited for this game. Advanced Warfare, Ghosts, Advanced Warfare, COD World War 2, and from there, decent. Infinite Warfare, COD Mobile, or place COD Mobile actually right here. But you know, I'll put COD Mobile right here. Alright, that's my final conclusion about COD Mobile. Still rather I'd play BO4 over World at War because of Blackout and the zombies. Fantastic. Yeah, I think Fantastic should stay that way. First of all, BO2 definitely the best one, no argument there. There we go, and that's it. So that's my final evaluation. The listing in Never Played doesn't matter, but the listing from here does. It's from worst to best. So probably the worst game I've ever played in the COD franchise, Modern Safe Space 2019. Most decent game I played in the franchise, Infinite Warfare. You know, we got Booty Oil Cold Sweat up here, and we got Booty Oil 2 as Perfect. And remember, it's my opinion, not like opinion matters shit anymore today, but it's my opinion, so doesn't mean your opinion is superior to mine. Everyone's opinions are equal to each other, as long as you have the proper reasoning to it, you know, as long as it's not fully biased. I mean, I guess you can say it's biased, but I mean, that's the thing with opinion, you know. It's like the idea has to come from a bias, and shit's gonna turn into a debate class now. If you think that my opinions are absolute pee-pee, then go ahead. You know, I'm curious to see what you guys think. Just don't come at me and say Modern Warfare 2019 is the best COD multiplayer ever. That shit's gonna piss me off. But that's it. That's all I have to say. Peace out.